Welcome to the next episode of Donkey Kong Country 3. So this series has kind of been in limbo since September, but originally I thought I was going to be able to sail through this, but I kind of reached a snag in this particular playthrough, and until I can beat this boss that you're going to see in this episode, I don't know how much more there's going to continue. Now, at least at this stage, considering this is the first episode that the boss is going to be in, it's a little bit palpable just because I don't have like 2 or 3 videos, but if it reaches a stage where I've been trying to fight this boss for 200 minutes or something like that, I don't know what I'm going to do with the playthrough. Right now, this project is kind of in limbo. The funny thing about this game is I beat this game back in the 90s when it first came out as a child, but I kind of look after it and have to say, if I cannot do that now, I'm not sure how to progress this project. I think, at least in the early stages, the showcase of error for this project is going to be okay, but if I really cannot continue to be able to get past this boss, I'm just not sure what to do. They're going to have to complete it off camera and then eventually showcase with better skill, or I'm just not going to be able to finish this game. That is kind of the thing, but we'll see what happens. I was not anticipating this back in September, but yeah, this game just kind of cranked out the difficulty just out of nowhere like that, and it kind of pissed me off. So I know that the next world, which is the ice world, is not nearly as bad. I want to say that the boss in that world is relatively simple. I don't know why they just decided to make this one a little bit tougher, but they did. So it's kind of the concept. This really is only the 4th world. That's the thing, is they give you a choice. You can either go to the kind of basin area, or you can go to the Mechanos place, which is this place. It's just I did them in order because I felt like that would be the more tangible thing to do, but it's just kind of one of those things. So, but yeah, the trick to this stage is just the kind of mechanics. There's going to be a tougher stage than this, so get used to these kind of sewer-like stages, because there is another one, and that one's particularly tough just because it reverses your controls. So I'm really wondering how I'm going to do in that stage. This is kind of because the whole stage is like that, so it's just kind of left is actually right. It was a pretty clever concept for the developers to do that, to have the reverse controls and actually be able to do it, but I'm just not really sure. Hopefully that stage, if I get to it, will not wind up morbidly pissing me off, So we'll see. But yeah, I would just say go ahead and drive up to Taco Bell, get yourself some Taco Bell, get yourself some nachos, that type stuff. We're going to have ourselves a time. This is definitely a good session area to pig out, because this is the format of the playthrough where there's going to be some error. So if you're here for the monotonous and kind of almost tedious tedium of seeing things repeated a few dozen times, you're in luck. It's really kind of the thing. I know, I've watched Let's Plays like that before, where it takes them 2 or 3 episodes just to get past 1 or 2 stages, and I guess this is going to be one of those playthroughs. Didn't have that problem with the Donkey Kong Country 2 playthrough, it really didn't. Or the first Donkey Kong Country from a couple years ago. But it just seems like this is how this one's going to be, so I'm going to try to keep it interesting, but if I can't figure it out, you may not be looking at an ending here. So we'll see how it goes. I'll keep trying to keep progressively playing this to see what happens, because the answer is, folks, I'm good at platformers. It's just the fact that it's been decades. 1996 continues to get further away, so it's just this relatively happens to be a thing. But okay, so we've unlocked the parrot, and this is not the good parrot, this is the awkward parrot, the one that can't shoot nuts. So, but he can grab barrels. That he does have that tactic, so that's his only real means of attack. And you just have to kind of gravitate with it. I was hoping the barrel would come back, but it didn't. This parrot actually has a name. I know the green one's name, but I don't remember the purple one's name. So, and it actually was the same. This purple one was in the second Donkey Kong game too. He was just a lot worse because he couldn't fly upward. He could only descend. So, relatively kind of happens to be a thing, but I'm just trying to think of stuff that's been going on. Reggie came through a few days ago, and I did some videos with him. If you don't know who Reggie is, he's my Gato buddy, and he's definitely a partner in crime, but his temperament. He is temperamental. He's just like one of my former cats, Augie, where he kind of was an ass, and he just gets pissed off for no reason a lot of the times. It's like hell. Kind of happens to be the thing. I don't know, there's just something about red-headed cats or ginger cats that just have an awkward temperament. It's just like typical normal gingers. They just kind of get pissed off. And I'm not trying to be stereotypical if that offends any red-headed people watching this, but it's just kind of, I don't know. I'm not South Park. I'm not going to be all anti-ginger, so that's kind of the thing, but yeah, so the thing about when you use the parrot in this stage in particular, you have to understand that the gravity is just off, so you're gonna either have more oomph or less oomph to kind of be able to talk about that, and this is kind of it just throws off the controls. I mean, there's a lot of gimmick stages like this in this game. That's really like the concept behind it, is it just consistently continues to, I mean, like the first two games just had like straightforward stages, but this one really takes it to the point of saying, hey, there's like I want to say gimmick, but I'm trying to figure out another word for it, like another type of novelty. Yeah, that's the word I was looking for. But the bees don't seem to have any problem with the gravity. You would think that they would too, but they don't. I guess they're machines, so maybe that doesn't work for them. But I don't know. I mean, it depends upon certain games. But sometimes in video games, it makes me mad when like things that affect like the hero character don't affect the enemies. I mean, I know in a game from like 1995, it's not going to do that, but in later games, if there is like poisonous air in the atmosphere, it needs to be affecting the enemies too, This kind of happens to be a thing, as it's just kind of like, I like in the Halo games, how the Flood would kill like the Covenant characters too. That was a good example of that, where the Flood wouldn't just be attacking you the whole time. So this is kind of the thing, but those secondary where there's actually two enemies, those are good concepts, but I mean, this is a 90s game. This is, but still a great game. I don't know what I would score this, probably like an 8.5 out of 10. I think Donkey Kong Country 2 will always be the best one out of the three. I'm starting to have a newfangled respect for the first Donkey Kong Country. I just think that one just nailed it so well, and it kicked off the series. I mean, I'm not one of these people that always feels like the first one that revolutionized it is always the best one, but I definitely give respect to the first Donkey Kong Country. I mean, this one is the bastard stepchild of the series, but it's not bad. It's not, I wouldn't give this like a 6 out of 10. It's definitely more like an 8, 8.25, 8.5, or even 8.75. I don't think it's quite a 9 out of 10. It's because, like, there's just not enough memorable stages and bosses in this one, but it does have some clever concepts. So, it's just it's a solitary finish, but most people were probably sick of the Super Nintendo and are playing better things like the PlayStation, playing Tomb Raider and Resident Evil and Dino Crisis and Gran Turismo and that type of stuff, or Tekken, some of those games that were around that time. It's kind of like hell. But yeah, we finally managed to complete this stage. So yeah, we're gonna get the hell out of here. Fuck this stage. Go lick a penis. Really happens to be a thing, but so yeah, I don't know how many of those banana birds we're gonna wind up getting. I think that's kind of the concept, but yeah, so we're gonna tackle this boss now, and this is what I was talking about here. The thing about this guy is the fact that his exhaust port, where the flames spew out, is kind of a bastard just because it's difficult to kind of predict. And I just feel like if it was like one of the first two Donkey Kong games, it'd be a lot simpler. But this kind of more gummier and bubblier, more hitboxes, because this is more designed for the younger set, just makes it a lot more difficult, which makes you easier to hit. They're a little bit more easier to hit, but so are your characters. So this is kind of, I just feel like it just has a lot more slower kind of hit reaction time and stuff, and it just like this game is just slower. I mean, it's designed for like entry level gamers and stuff. Like this is very much like Yoshi's Island. Like Yoshi's Island was pretty kid centric too, but this game is very much like that. And it's tough, but it's not. It has that dichotomy of just being able to kind of say and stuff that it kind of goes back and forth between where it's kind of tough, but it's kind of not. You just have to really be able to master the controls. I think it's just kind of the thing. But so we're not going to beat this guy in this episode, and I don't know if we'll beat him in the next one. I'm going to try. I'm going to keep working at this guy to see what I can do with it, but it's just not going to be, it's probably going to become like my pet project, just because the controls behind this are just so, like in the next episode, you're going to see that I actually got him to 5 out of 6 hits. I only had to hit him one more time and I would have beaten the boss, but I just was not able to do it. And I was just like, fuck, that really pissed me off, and I rage quit. But I'm hoping that next time I'll be able to do it so we can get on to the ice world and the rest of the game. Because there are at least 3 more worlds after this. Yeah, there's actually 4 more. So this is only the halfway point of the goddamn game. So this is kind of... But yeah, so... but you have to be quick. Those fan blades that spin out from him are only going to do it about 2 or 3 times, and that's it. And plus, the other chimp is just really kind of, because he's bigger, he just has a larger hitbox. I just feel like Dixie is a little bit more able to kind of dodge some of these. That's the character I try to conserve, Well, yeah, this world has just really been kind of a mess. I remember the episode I did back in September kind of pissing me off too, just because there was some really this world is just not like the other 3 worlds, like the water world and the forest world and then the lakeshore world were not that bad, but this one really kind of tried my patience. It just had a lot of stuff in it that wound up pissing me off quite easily. Like I also remember those 2 brace the 2 brace one. That one was kind of a pain in the ass, and these were just not very accommodating stages. Like at least when you did like the roller coaster stages in Donkey Kong Country 2, it had some degree of fun towards it to be able to kind of say that at least inspired you to keep going because the difficulty wasn't over the top. But this one kind of pushes the boundary, where it just kind of does some nasty things where it's like, hey, this one's kind of tougher this time, and it's like, can you handle it? And if you can't, it's just like, well, too bad. This is kind of the thing. But yep, first game over, so we might be seeing more of these in the future, folks. But I'm just kind of, I don't really know. Like I said, I rage quit in the next episode, so you may not actually see the game over, but we'll see how it goes. I'm just gonna try. I'll eventually try again, see how I do with it, but for now, this is a nice settlement of another 15 minutes of quality time with this game. So, yeah, the boxing gloves are knocking me off too. It's just kind of, they don't give you a lot of time. So, yep. That's really why you need the other chimp. You need Dixie for this, but it's just kind of... problem with it is you can't get hit with her because that just makes it more difficult. Alright, folks, so that should about wrap up this episode. I will see you next time, and we will try to get more of these if it's possible. So subscribe for more fun. Thanks for watching. Have a wonderful night.